So I'm just going to give you a few moments to get settled. Some of you will be sitting on support, some of you will be sitting directly onto the mat. Whichever way, be sure that you are being true to yourself and you are getting that lift in your spine. Okay, what that means is that these legs are not lifting up. It means that there's tremendous length in the hamstrings. So just watch the screen. I'm going to pull those hamstrings back and down so I'm in this position. So our life's work is about creating strength and length in our body groins, and that is something that takes quite a long time. So be sure that you're getting these actions. Sit on something should you need it. Now, when we stand up, we're going to see that we stand in a good Tadasana. Now, when you stand in your Tadasana, we're going to bring the hands into a prayer position. So just stay looking at the screen for a moment. The weight goes back into the heels and then taking the hands into a prayer position. So you're going to be in this prayer position, being aware of your breath and being aware of the lift. Now there will be no lift in your Tadasana if you do not adjust the weight across the foot. So if you're just in this position, that's not going to work. If you're too far back, that's not going to work. If you're tucking your tailbone in, that's not going to work. So what we have to do is see what it feels like to go back, what it feels like to come into the heels, and then get that lift. So you have to really sense that active connection with the heel and the floor, and then place the hands, soften the eyes, breathe through the nasal passage, and just be in this position. So just soften your eyes, close your eyes, and just be aware of the breath. So being very present at this moment in time. Let your eyes move towards the tip of the nose. Just be in that position. Hold it for a few moments. Just be in your space. So just take a look at the screen for a moment. I'm going sideways on. I'm going to take the hands into a prayer position, take the weight back nicely. Take a nice breath in, this way extending all the way up. Now this is the biggest challenge here. You've got to pull up through the centre of the body. Now just watch for a moment. I'm bending the knees. Now I've got to be very dynamic and see, can I extend into my Utkatasana? Alright, now if you find this really, really challenging, then of course you can take the arms, the hands away from one another. But otherwise, I want you to have a go and see if you can really enjoy that sense of breath and lifting up with the arms, extending, taking the weight right back into your heels, lifting up through the centre of the body, soft inhalation and exhalation. So all of this needs to be understood, and that effort needs to be there. That effort for the arms. Be sure that you are getting that action, lifting through the chest. Don't give up. Keep in the action, keep your Utkatasana, and then taking a breath in and coming up, standing Tadasana. And when you're in Tadasana, we're going to come back to a prayer position and lifting up. Close your eyes again for a moment and find that expansion of breath. So this is when Mr. Iyengar really talks about being on all levels of yoga, being aware of the internal function of the body, being aware of the mind-body breath control. Okay, and releasing. Alright, we're coming into Bhujangasana. Now I'm going to show you with a rolled blanket. You can have a rolled towel, or you can even use your mat if you want to roll that up a little bit. Just watch the screen for a moment. So we're going to come forward, and we're going to see that this is just on the thigh creases, on the thigh creases. Now, we're going to see that the feet are reaching away. Now, if you find it really difficult to lift from the back of the hamstring, then you're going to need to have a little bit of help in a moment. I'm going to show you that. So this is Bhujangasana. I've got to see that I soften the buttock, I move up in the hamstring, and then come into the pose. And then release it. So when we come for this action, it's really handy to understand how you get that flow of energy in Bhujangasana. Now, if you grip your buttocks and your lower back, you will only be forced to open your upper back. This is not really a fluid action. As Mr. Iyengar would always say, you have to reach to the farthest edge. And how can you if you're putting some grips in the way, if you're tightening your body? So we have to learn to work with these poses with a degree of ease when we can. When you're very, very tight, it's really difficult to work out what is soft and what is not soft. And that's the whole process of change. If we didn't have anything to change, then we wouldn't be practicing yoga. Alright, so when we're in this position, I'm going to be here. You take the legs a little bit apart. Now, what's really important is that you split this belt, and then we get this. This splitting of the belt is really, really important. And then we come up. So this comes into a much deeper action. Alright, if you haven't already started, then lie in a prone position with your support rolled underneath the root of the thigh. Have your belt around the lower ankles and see, can you get that action of pushing and splitting that belt in two? So it's quite a challenging action, but you have to see that your sacrum becomes as broad as that connection in the ankles and the belt. So this is really the art of yoga, seeing that you open these new gateways, these new roads, these new paths and go-throughs. Alright, and now release them. Alright, so we'll move this away and we'll have a go and see if we can come into the pose in a classic way. If you know you've got a really tight back and there's absolutely no go-through, then work more on the therapeutic part of it that we've just practiced. But if you can come into the full pose, then just have a look at the screen, legs are closer together, which is always a challenge. And then we have to see, it's almost as if we're still broadening and lifting without actually making that physical movement on the exterior body. Then we get all of this action and come up. You have to weight down into the root of those thighs and come in up. Alright, so have a go. See if you can get that action. See if you can come into your Bhujangasana. Always a challenging action. But learn to love this pose because it teaches you so much. If nothing else, it tells us where we are so tight. And then releasing. Well done. Alright, so we're moving on now to Mukha Svanasana. So Mukha Svanasana, as we all know, is dog facing up. So have a look at this. We're going to tuck the toes under to start with in this way. Now, same thing applies, is that we have to see that even though the thighs are up, we have to see that the creases of the front thighs move down. So we come up like our Bhujangasana, continue, and come up. Alright, just look at the screen for a moment. I'm going to just give you a little bit of teaching on this because sometimes it's quite challenging to understand this. If you lift like that, you're not going to come into the pose. You have to see that the thighs lift and these frontal creases release down. Then we come up and we uncoil the pose. Okay? Alright, come on then. Have a go. So see that you reach into those legs. The legs are really strong and straight. You're pushing into your heels and coming up into your Mukha Svanasana. So be sure that you are keeping those legs really nice and straight, grounding down into the forearms so there's a good connection with your palm. And now see that you release down and just take a look at the video. I'm going to demonstrate with the feet flat in this way. So reaching those legs, seeing that the top of the thigh moves down, looking forward, and then lifting up, and seeing that now you unfold Adho Mukha Svanasana. And you may need to slide yourself a little forward, as I did there. And I'm going to slide myself a little bit more forward, and then broaden across those back creases. Broaden across the back creases. And then releasing down. Alright, just release down in the prone position for a moment. Okay, so some of you will be practicing with the feet flat, some tuck those toes under. So you have to work out, where you can understand the pose. Which pose is most informative, and of course we have to look after our backs. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's get the job done. Now I'm going to use this support for my head. Now some of you have seen this pose already, taught in this way. You may need to have a little bit more support underneath here. So taking my hands into this position, tucking my toes under, and then lifting up. Now the key thing is to get as much length in that leg that you did in your Tadasana, and that relies so much with these thighs moving into the bones. They've got to move into the bone. These creases have got to push in strongly. So we're going to lift up and then push back. Now you may require to hold on to the mat and push back. Alright, so your turn. So hopefully you've got your support for your head, either foam pad and a brick or something less, but we want to make sure that that head is supported. So taking your hands either in your Adho Mukha Svanasana or taking your hands and gripping that mat. Alright, off you go, up you go. So be sure that you are, firstly, without making too many adjustments, get the height of the pose. This is where this pose, if the foundations are not there in the very beginning, that lift through the front body, that lift through the front leg. Remember, all four bends are reliant on this lift and rotation and energy from the front leg all the way through the front body. So be sure that's happening, and then you can start to use these creases, the front creases, the groins, the root of the thigh to push back, push back, push back. See that you're touching the support with your head, and as you do so, push back even more. So a lot of effort is required at the very beginning when you're starting to learn these adjustments. So much effort. But this pose is so good to open your lower back, which will free all poses. All poses will become a lot easier once you get the essence and the method. Alright, releasing, coming into Adho Mukha, Virasana, extending, reaching and just being there for a few moments. Soft inhalation, soft exhalation. Yeah, just feel the spine weighting down. Just become aware of the buttocks releasing onto your heels. Just be there. Nice, soft inhalation and exhalation. So we're going back to that real sense of connecting with our breath, calming the mind. Okay, and now releasing, coming up. Okay, so we're coming into a Setabandha action. So if you have your homemade bolster, or you have a bolster, that will be quite useful. Taking the support, and then bringing the bolster closer to the support, and yasi, that you get the length through the body, extending in those heels, and just becoming aware of your breath. So soft inhalation and exhalation. Now be in your Setabandha, soft inhalation and soft exhalation. Just be there, letting the body quieten down. So a soft inhale, soft exhale. Releasing the facial features, the throat. Keeping that quietness in the abdomen. Reaching strongly in the legs. So now I'm coming out of Setabandha, roll to your right side, and coming up into a seated position. So just sit quietly for a moment. Close your eyes. Breathe through your nostrils. So just take time at the end of your class to really reconnect with your mind, body and breath.